Good afternoon, Keepers of the Cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here, and we are here with another Savage Saturday comic review, number 14. And today we are going to review issue 11. Now, as you all know, this was an issue I needed. I'm down to 3 issues of Conan the Barbarian, the original one. I need to complete my collection. I finally got to read this again because Cruisin' Relics sent this to me as an A-OK. That video is a few videos ago. Please check it out. Awesome issue, awesome guy. And so I got to revisit this. I've only read it in reprints the last couple years because I didn't have this book. Now I have it. I want to do a review of it because Rogues in the House is one of my favorite Robert E. Howard stories with Conan. It's just got a lot going for it. And in this issue, it's another Roy Thomas adaptation, right? So the main players, right? We have Conan, of course, our main title hero. We have Jenna, who is a woman that betrays Conan in the beginning of this tale, which lands him in a cell. And then we have Murillo, who is opposed to the king and wants him overthrown because the king and his red priest, Nabonidus, they're not good people, right? So Murillo and the other people, they're just opposed to them and they need a new ruler. And they're doing what they can to make that happen. And Nabonidus, the red priest, has this servant named Thak. Thak is a giant, monstrous ape creature, but not from regular apes. He's from a different kind of race, so he has some intelligence about him. So we're going to get with the writer, Roy Thomas, of course. Always an A+ story from Roy when he's doing an adaptation of Robert E. Howard. He just gets it. He understands Howard's sensibilities. He understands how to write Howard. He understands how to adapt Howard in a way that makes sense. Not only for the people that are true Robert Howard enthusiasts like myself, also people that are just fans of Marvel Comics. And his adaptations fit wonderfully in both worlds. The main artist, of course, during this time was Barry Windsor Smith, and he provided the cover art and the interior art. And I'm going to keep showing you stuff over here. It's Barry Windsor Smith. It's absolutely amazing. The amount of detail he puts into his panels is phenomenal, incredible. Whatever amazing adjective you want to add onto it, it'll fit. Barry Windsor Smith is just fantastic. I know he's not some people's cup of tea art style with Conan, but what people don't understand is the Barry Windsor Smith tales were in Conan's younger years when he was first starting out. He wasn't quite the big, strong John Buscema Conan. He was growing. He was light. He was on the move constantly, and he was still young. He was in his teens, not even 20 yet. So Barry Windsor Smith's interpretation of Conan then is just always, to me, spot on and perfect, and always one of my favorite interpretations of my favorite Cimmerian, right? So the cover and interior art, we're going to give an A+. The story adaptation is clearly an A. And the conclusion is definitely an A. Well, A+ all around, I should say. I love them all. It's my opinion. I love everything about this adaptation, as I do with most Roy Thomas adaptations. Now, he did make one funny nod and addition into this story. And a certain part of this story, one of our guys, Murillo, who has machinations set up to free Conan so he can assassinate Nabonidus, gets spoken to by a messenger, a nameless messenger in the original story by Robert E. Howard, but in this story his name is Sivraj, which if you spell it backwards is Jarvis. Roy Thomas, who's also writing Avengers, little nod there, little trickster. I thought it was a fun addition, especially if you pick up on it. You're like, oh, Roy, you sly dog, you. So, this story, the main theme is a revenge plot, right? And then it's man overcoming beast. In the beginning of the story, Conan, and I'm not going to try to spoil much, but I am going to set it up for you. Conan was in the company of a woman named Jenna, who is not the most trustworthy woman. Gold is her constant companion whenever she can get it, whether that's through finding it, stealing it, or betraying someone to get it. In this case, the betrayed is Conan, who ends up in a cell, and she ends up with another dude. And in this cell, Conan is approached by Morello and one of his servants, and they tell Conan they can free him if he will go and assassinate Nabonidus. Nabonidus is the actual guy pulling the strings of the king. The king isn't really in charge. Nabonidus is in charge, and that's just how it is. So part of them turning their state's ruling around is to get rid of this king and implement a new king. So Conan is tasked with the assassination, and he gives his Sumerian vow and oath that it will be done. And once Conan gives an oath, he is strict and keeps that oath no matter what. Whatever's in his power to do, he does. So in this story, we got multiple betrayals. We got revenge. We have assassination plots. We have warring political parties. We have traps, beasts, and uneasy truces. All right, and it's great. You got Conan finally escaping. Morello thinks Conan is stuck in a cell and can't escape through events that happen. I'm not going to tell you events because I want you to read the story for yourself. It's easy to find in reprints. Conan ends up going to the house to assassinate Nabonidus and runs into Morello there. Morello and Conan run into an unconscious Nabonidus in his own home. And thus the plot moves forward, right? The once servant Thak is now ruling that household in the place of Nabonidus. He is a half intellectual man ape who is imitating the guy who was his master. And the plot goes forward from there. You got three people that can't really trust each other. You got a half-crazed beast imitating a man, and craziness unfolds. And that's all I'm going to say. There's betrayals. There's truces. There's growing friendships. There's respect. There's incredible fight. And just so much fun. So much sword and sorcery action. And it's just sword against beast. Man against beast. Man against man. Man against woman. Schemes. Plots upon plots. Trying to undo each other and tie each other together. Great little read. A story that isn't one of Robert E. Howard's shortest stories, but in 34 pages, Roy Thomas really sums it up well, and he does a great job. And there's a few tiny things he changes, but here's how an adaptation is done right. The things he changes in no way changes the main story. It doesn't change what the main characters do. They still do the same exact things as the story. A little bit differently, but the exact same thing. And it doesn't take away from the main story at all. It's the exactly same main story. And same conclusion. Same high points. The things that are changed are things that are not integral to the story. So it doesn't matter. They fit in a little more flashier in a comic, so that made sense. And absolutely phenomenal adaptation. Roy Thomas knew how to do it. This is a masterwork by Roy Thomas and Barry Windsor Smith, and I give it an A+ all around. Conclusion was amazing, as it is, and that's all I got for you guys. Check this out. Rogues in the House. It's issue 11 if you have any kind of Conan reprints at all, in any of the many forms that they're in. The Chronicles of Conan, the omnibuses that are out, the epic collections. There's millions of ways to read this without having to spend the money on the old book. And that's all I got for you today, guys. I hope everyone's safe. Hope everyone's having a great week. And until next time, keep it casual.